Hello, hello, hello. Darling Nikki, long time no see. How are you? Let me get on my YouTube side for a minute. Oh, I am. Live chat. Oh, I like the pink hand. Oh, hold on. Let me mute on the YouTube side. Okay. Making lemonade. Get out. Where have you been? Well, where have I been? How are you? Oh my God, it's so great to see you. Get that. Hi, Pink. Hope you're well. I'm doing good. I hope you're well. Hey, Nana Patty. Hey, J May. I just got back from dinner with a friend. We talked for hours. So fun. Oh, that was nice. I hope you had a nice dinner as well. I worked as usual. Um, so I figured I go live. I can't stay up too long because I am dog sitting early in the morning for a dog that my son dated this girl for a long time, and they adopted a dog together. Well, of course, and then they broke up, and we hadn't seen Daisy. God, it was 4 years maybe, and I got to see her tonight. We reunited. I videotaped it. She went nuts, but she broke both of her legs. I'd say about almost 2 months ago, jumping off a little cliff, but um, so she was in casts for quite some time, and she's starting to learn how to walk. It's kind of sad to see her trying to walk. She's not in pain, but she's so used to having those casts on, which are now removed. Um, but we have her for the holiday weekend. Endlessly edgy. Hello, Pink. If I did something to hurt you, then I am truly sorry. I was told that I did. I apologize. Well, we can probably talk in private at some point. I mean, I wouldn't say hurt. I just think I got people just stopped communicating with me completely. There were no more Zoom invites. Um, Nobody reached out. And it was during a time that, I was grieving very hard the loss of my mom, and I just couldn't take one more thing. So I don't know. I don't know if I was hurt, maybe disappointed, but it's okay. It's all right. So I just figured, well, Merb is going live, and I haven't watched it because if you looked at my community post, I won't give her the view tonight. Not for this drama crap, because this, my friends, is a narcissist, and this is what they do. Hey, Mark, good to see you. This is what they do, and I know it brings to those who've been hurt by her. This does hurt. It makes people angry, um, upset, um, when you know your truth and the manipulation a narcissist performs. But I want you to remember one thing: a narcissist, it's not that they don't like you, they don't like themselves, and they act out in fear. It's all internalized with them. So you've got to remember that. And granted, she's pissed me off too, because we all know somebody did text me and said that she questioned um, why everybody something went after her when her dog died, that we were so mean. And I asked the person, I texted them back and I said, well, did she get into, when when her dog got hit, when she went live and showed everyone her dead dog bleeding, that how that affected so many people. It was horrible. And they said no. So she skips over anything that she's to be accountable for. or any reasons that, um, you know, her getting the ball rolling. If she never went live and just came on and said, you know what, my dog died, it was hit, more than likely there wouldn't have been the acceleration that it went to. And I remember going live that day. It's like someone asking you, do you remember where you were on 9/11? If someone says to me, Pink, do you remember where you were when Merb went live and showed her a dead dog? I can tell you exactly the time, where I was driving, the weather, everything, everything. I think it's something I will never forget. She's spinning out of control. I can't watch that. Yeah, and I was told she's crying. Now, narcissists can cry, and it's usually the dry cry. And hey, hybrid, thanks for being here. You're welcome. Hey, heads up. She's a bright Ken record. I feel the same as J May. So narcissists do cry, but usually there are no tears. But they don't cry because they're empathetic toward you. A lot of times they cry because they feel like they're losing control. Okay, and it's a form of manipulation. So I'm going to audio play. Where is it? I'm going to audio play um, a video. It's 5 minutes. Why do narcissists cry? So I want you to listen to this, okay? Let me know if you
Hey
can
everybody,
hear it.
it's Meredith Miller with Inner Integration. Today, the topic I have for you is why do narcissists and sociopaths cry? Sometimes I hear clients say that they doubt their abuser is actually a narcissist, sociopath, psychopath, etc. because they've seen them cry. Usually, this is in reference to my client telling the abuser that they're going to leave, or this happens when they call out the abuse, or even sometimes during movies, TV shows, and news. I suspect there could be a few different dynamics going on here, but I think the bottom line is the same. They're crying for themselves, not for you. The best expression for most of the situations where you will see one of these abusive people cry is crocodile tears. In case you're wondering where the word crocodile tears, the phrase crocodile tears comes from, Wikipedia says the expression comes from an ancient anecdote that crocodiles weep for the victims they are eating. A collection of proverbs attributed to Plutarch suggests that the phrase crocodile tears was well known in antiquity, comparing the crocodile's behavior to people who desire or cause the death of someone, but then publicly lament for them. So some of these abusive people, the more covert they are, the better they are at their performances. And some of them are really, really good at their performances. Sometimes their tears might be real. It's just that they're probably not crying for the reason that you think or want to believe. I've been observing this, looking back in my own memories of experiences with abusive people who have cried, and then through listening to many different clients telling me during our coaching sessions about moments when their abusers cried. The thing about these types isn't that they all have zero emotion. And I think that might be one misconception that we can get reading through some of the literature. Sometimes they have a lot of emotion about themselves, but rarely do their emotions empathize with you or anyone else. Their emotions are about themselves. So even their emotions are narcissistic. They're usually crying because it gets them attention, some kind of narcissistic supply in the form of sympathy or your benefit of the doubt or you doing things out of pity for them. And cluster Bs often play the victim, so the tears will come with that role. They're crying, for example, when you're ready to leave because they're going to lose their source of narcissistic supply, not because you're selfish for leaving and not because they love you and realize that they might lose you if they don't become a better person. They're crying because they think you're so cruel for saying that they're abusive, or they're shocked and hurt that you think they were so cruel. I've heard both of those. Not because they're ashamed of what they did and want to make things right. They're crying at the happy ending in the movie or some event in the news or celebrity gossip show, maybe because a celebrity or a movie character is happy or has something that the narcissist doesn't have. And sometimes it's about the drama fest of, oh my God, it's just so awful what happened to so and so. Did you hear? And they get into all of that disgusting drama, gossip stuff, and then the tears start flowing. They're crying the loudest at funerals because this gets them narcissistic supply in the form of attention or sympathy, not because they genuinely loved the person who died or cared about the person beyond their mere function of giving them narcissistic supply and meeting their insatiable needs. So yes, it's definitely possible to see abusive people cry, but if you really, really pay attention and you don't get sucked into their pity ploy or your own fantasy of what you hope it means that they're crying, if you really observe them, you will see just how hollow their tears are. So feel free to share in the comments any insights that you're having listening to this now about narcissists from your past or people that you're still with. Or maybe I didn't mention something that you picked up on that you noticed. Feel free to leave those below in the comments, and I'm sending you all a big hug.
Okay, so that was the channel Inner Integration. They have 410K subscribers. So did you understand that, why they cry? They're crying for themselves. Like I said before, either they feel like they're losing control, someone else is getting the attention, not them. They're not crying for you. Um, and it's a sympathy ploy. It's a tactic. It's a very common tactic with some narcissists. Some narcissists, like malignant, can't cry at all. They're more of like the sociopath. So there's a fine line between like how to tell the difference between a narcissist and a sociopath. Sociopaths don't cry at all, at all. So it's good to see everyone. So I know that if anyone popped in to watch her, it does make people angry because again, she doesn't take accountability. But if you understand the narcissist, and I think last year I did some series on it, and it's in my playlist, the different types of narcissists. And no matter if you clap back or do a commentary on her, the narcissist will never give up. They will never. What it does is it fuels her. It fuels the narcissist. Hi, London. It gives them that narcissistic supply. So the best thing to do is not reply at all, is to not give them that attention. That is the best revenge, because then they eventually feel they are not in control. But how do you tell how many people are over there? 300 or so. How do you tell, the ones who she's hurt not to go look? Some people just are curious. I've looked at, I think her first drama stream I looked at and I was disgusted. And I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole again because that's what the narcissist wants to do. They want to make you angry. And I find it interesting that she will never, ever, ever take accountability for anything. She will never bring up the dead dog, never, as if it never happened. She'll question why, but never talk about what she did to other people, and that's what's so like drives me crazy. Like, do you get it? Like, but she does. Narcissists are good at that. They're good at, being like covert. to other people, covering up their true selves, and coming off as, unsuspecting. And it seems like, from what I heard from a text, that that's what she's doing. She's being playing the unsuspecting person. Why me? Why me? Um, right. Absolutely no accountability. She just regurgitates the same crap. And also, she's getting views. She knows that drama sells. Um, and so I think part of it too is her channel has tanked, for having 41,000 subscribers. So why not do drama? And it's sad to me because she's got young kids. Um, I just try to put myself in the kid's spot, and if my mom ever like behaved like that, and all the time that she could be sleeping, getting a good rest, going on vacation with her kids, her family, but she chooses to make YouTube like her priority. It's just, but these are the types of families that are out there. We are a product of our environment, and I just hope her kids um, make the right decisions, and I hope they treat women, especially, with kindness and respect. Um, it's her drama is lame. Her views are up. Mostly people that don't like her. Yeah, hate watching. She's in her glory. Oh, absolutely. Um, so people who chronically brag and boast are grating and at times repellent. But the surprising truth about narcissists might help us feel unexpected compassion for them. In a world where humility is valued, some of the most grating people are those who constantly name drop, brag, claim credit, and opine about their brilliance. These qualities set off loud alarm bells of a narcissist in our presence, the kind of person who makes us roll our eyes and gnash our teeth. So it's hard for us to find compassion for someone like Merb, who's full of herself. And and why would we sympathize with people who repel us the most? Um, but unlike the narcissist staring at himself reflecting in the pool, many narcissists actually aren't in love with themselves at all. It's the opposite. So this is when I talked about narcissists don't like themselves. It's not that they don't like you. They're driven by their lack of self-love for themselves. Um, so it's self-hatred. Um, So, like flexing on social media might come from low self esteem and a constant need for self validation. The fact that some narcissists might actually dislike themselves not only debunks the common school of thought about braggarts, but also suggests that we may want to rethink the way we interact with narcissists. So they don't feel good. They tend to be very charming and outgoing. I wouldn't put Merv in that category. I don't think she's charming. I think she tries to be. Um, and they can make very good first impressions. So maybe when she first came to YouTube, people tend to be on their best behavior, right? Give it 6 months and then you see the mask fall off. Um, but they also tend to be somewhat disagreeable, lacking in empathy, and they are very manipulative. And a common misconception is that this behavior stems from intense self love, self obsession, and self centeredness. But the cause could just be the opposite. So, narcissistic individuals are actually hamstrung by insecurity and shame, and their entire life is an attempt to regulate their image. Okay. Narcissism has never been about self love, it's almost entirely about self loathing. Um, Grandiose narcissists might not be considered narcissists at all because their behavior can resemble psychopathy, a related condition in which people act with no empathy in self-serving ways. So it always, I always toggle between narcissism and um, psychopathy with Merv, maybe both, um, but she definitely borders it. Um, so the true narcissists, because they don't seek power or dominance, but rather affirmation and attention that elevate their status and image in minds of others. So right now, I'm leaning on psychopathy. They don't feel good about themselves. The paper is not too. Uh, it's on the contrary. They need a lot more compassion. Hold on, someone's texting me. Right, attention, but her going on about her deceased son is terrible. Yes, yes. Is that what she's doing tonight? She's which doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me. That's manipulation, weaponizing someone's death. And I can't help but think that even before her son passed away, from the people I spoke to, and I'm not going to say what I've spoke to 25, 30 people who were ex-ramblers, that they're all liars. They all told me she was like this before she lost her son. Um, and I could never understand why, in all the times that she brings up her son, she never honors him. Never, never. And that's sad to me. So that just proves to me that she uses him to weaponize when she should be honoring him in his life and in death. You know, um, I can't imagine if my son were to pass. And sometimes, it's maybe one day it will happen because thankfully he's in recovery. Um, but you never know. And I often imagine myself like if it happened to me and I lost my son, I can't imagine using him as a weapon like that. You would be telling me to shut up because I'd be honoring him every single day. Online, in my real life, I wouldn't stop talking about how wonderful he is. I would be fighting for a cause, for addiction and helping even more people. I would be empowered, and so yeah, just like she uses his death. Yeah, it's disturbing. I mean, I don't know anything about her son except that he passed. I don't know what he liked. Honestly, I don't even know his name. I don't know what his favorite things that he did. Um, I don't know if he ever went to the lake. I don't know nothing about him, and that's sad. Um, so her seeking positive reinforcement to make others feel better, that's something that we do from time to time. And it doesn't make us a narcissist, but seeking out self enhancement in the way she does it, by like what we just talked about, like weaponizing, using people in her life, an untimely death. Um, and a lot of people will fall for it. They'll buy it. Oh, they're horrible people. They're horrible people. Look what they did. And there's no proof that it was done. And she will never show proof. She just talks. So because she says it, it must be true. And there's a lot of people on YouTube like that. Well, she said it, it must be true. And that's not the case. Um, Most narcissists don't realize that they are the problem. Um, Something that makes tackling the issue hard. Narcissists tend to be resistant to change because they see the locus of most problems in others rather than themselves. Um, Psychotherapy is the best way to treat narcissism, although it cannot be cured. Um, you're unlikely to change them, persuade them, or win an argument with them. um, Set realistic expectations for your interactions with them, and that's when you can get into creating boundaries if you choose to stay in any relationship with a narcissist. And sometimes we have no choice. If we're at work and one of our employees or our boss is a narcissist. I had a boss that was a narcissist. I ended up resigning, but the damage was done. I tried and I tried and I tried. This was a long time ago, but the damage was done where it put me into therapy. The gaslighting, finding myself questioning my own reality at times, the passive aggressiveness. Oh, you're really great at what you do. And then, the next day or the next hour, you know, why do you hate me so much? Pointing the finger at me. I'm like, what? It was crazy. It was crazy. So remembering that their actions may well come from a place of insecurity could also help you view them with more compassion if you choose to be compassionate. I think the best strategy for dealing with narcissists may be to try to understand where they're coming from. And a lot of narcissism could be, for example, from childhood trauma, their upbringing. It might not even be trauma. It could be that they were spoiled rotten, that they got everything, that they were the favorite child, they were the only child. And again, in my playlist, there are videos, live streams that I did that discuss that. So narcissism is tough. It's tough. She's setting up her next supply. Pink, do you have your crown on? No, I can't say I have a crown. I have a wig. I get the Mummy Rambling wig. I'm out of balls. I have the shells still. Um, maybe it's time for a parody at some point, but the minute she drops the drama, it's going to go right back to her boring true crime channel where she reads from articles. She doesn't even give credit to the journalist, the author of the article. Never, never. Um, so she's taking the credit for other people's work, but that's typical of a narcissist. That laugh. Oh, oh, God. And history repeats itself with her. She can talk all she wants about, her shell vacation, and it was so great. That's she has that grandiose attitude when nothing goes perfect on a vacation. I'm sorry, but there's always going to be, when you go away with a bunch of people, there might be bumps along the way, but she portrays her life as perfect, as if she's a saint. And what I can't stand is her quoting the Bible. Vengeance is mine, says the Lord. She will literally quote it while she's going after people and calling herself a Christian. It's like, what? Like, do you not hear what you're saying? She'll say it, vengeance is mine, says the Lord. You'll see, you'll see. but she's playing the role of the Lord, of God, the judge and jury, and the executioner. And her goal is to hurt you, to hurt you. That is her main goal. She has tunnel vision. She's going to go after you and she's not going to stop. She wants you to react. Okay, so if there's any YouTube channels out there that are reacting, I know BBT doesn't even talk about her anymore. I don't know why. That was like, wow. Um, there's rumors that they're friends again. Who knows? Who cares? But so I think Natasha Cooper um, reacts to her. I know Rabbit Dog does. And I know people want to defend themselves, but you're giving her what she wants. You're fueling her. I think she misquotes the Bible in an attempt to mirror SR. Look, and I've said it before, if she ever were to walk into a church, I think the steeple would turn upside down. It would be a disaster. And I was speaking to someone, I texted someone I think this morning, and I said, is she possessed? Is she possessed? Right? Like we often think and that's how narcissism is so frustrating because you will never, ever, ever change them, right? So we're looking for, reasons because we want someone who's this bad to be good. We all want to see good in people. And I woke up and I'm like, she could be possessed. Maybe we need to send a priest. Maybe if somebody shows her a crucifix and maybe we'll see her like, no, get it away. Or, have Jimmy put garlic around his neck or something and see if she reacts, because there are people who are possessed with demon spirits. But it's just a thought. It's just a thought. It's like that. Well, if she's possessed, we can fix her, right? And this will all go away. But no, that's how much narcissism it's so concrete in people, and they will never change, and that sucks. So we, as people, many victims out there, the ex-ramblers, not necessarily me. I will admit I was never a rambler. I never liked her channel. I don't know why. It just bored me. But you have to take the time to understand narcissism. And I think once you start to understand how the narcissist functions, you can look at it from a different angle and not absorb everything she's saying. And, it still hurts, but maybe with some understanding, it might relieve some of that pain that you're feeling if you're being attacked by her or any narcissist. And know that, look, it's not you, it's her. The narcissist hates themselves. They do. They can't stand what they are. And that's why they take it out on other people. Instead of swat a priest. Yeah, let's send Father Bob Murphy to Merb's house. Her passive aggressiveness attitude makes me sick. Yeah, heads up. So I heard tonight she's kind of passive. I don't know if her whole live stream is passive, but I was told she's very using a quiet voice, and she's crying, sniffling, but no tears, but no tears, But it stems from jealousy. Wasn't she after Linda from It's a Crime, right? When she started But Linda never gave her notice. She was just jealous of the number of subs she got so quickly. Linda, I'm not familiar with Linda. Yes, and right, art studio. Just, I have one mommy. One. Just calling someone mommy. That's not my mom. You know what I mean? I'm not talking like, maybe someone in your life that you adore and you might say you're like a second mother to me. Uh no, it's kind of sexual too, don't you think? You know, mommy. Oh, mommy. Yeah, come on. Yeah, I think she's a little bit of a perversion. I mean, she did. Did you see my community post? I'm sorry, but those Kegel balls, they're sex toys. She thinks that you just insert them, and because they're weighted, that they strengthen the muscles. But what it does at the same time, um, it creates an excitement within. Okay, it stimulates. It produces lubricant, your body's natural lubricant. They are stimulating. And when you move around and squeeze, I'm sorry, but think about it. It's like having intercourse and you have something inside of you. So um, they are sex toys. It's a two-in-one deal. You get to strengthen your Kegel muscles, but you can't do that without getting excited down there. Anything that's inside moving around, that's weighted. Come on, Merb. I personally, as I said in my community post, 50 Shades of Grey is a company that has a line of uh, Kegel balls out. I preferred them because you can download the app and actually um, make them, vibrate even, or you can make them vibrate, and they give you exercises like it's at a gym. Hold for 5 seconds, release, hold, release, hold. Um, yeah, so check them out. And they are also recommended for the anus. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. We're human. All right, whatever makes your boat float, right? Um, the anus is a very sensitive part of the body, especially in men, because that's where the prostate is located. Um, and if anyone has followed me for a long time, when I used to do sexy trivia nights, we talked about that. It doesn't mean something has to be up there, but even if you stimulate around that area, it's very sensual. Very sensual. Hey, Rhodey Lay, you London can't even hold my bladder. Do you have stress incontinence? Then you need to look at the Kegel balls are great because not only are you strengthening your muscles, but you're getting stimulated at the same time. Unless you're someone that just hates to be uh, pleasured, you know? She's a weird one. Yeah, so I found her channel where she did all her reviews. I didn't know she had a review. Uh, and she's got the vibrator, and the vibrator is the same thing that can be used to stimulate. Yeah, you can throw it up on your shoulder to get a nick out of your neck, or not. But you can also use it down there or up there around the breast. I mean, this could turn into like a sexy trivia night show tonight here. Hey, Rosie, how are you? My dinner slid off my darn hospital bed onto a table. Luckily, it wasn't lost. Oh, you're in the hospital. I hope you feel better. You got a husband. Thank you, Lord. Amen. Amen. We all should have, geared toward healthy sex lives, no matter what age you are, Merb. With Merv, it's a little difficult. I mean, at least when you're like in your 50s, right? You're basically premenopausal, menopausal, so you don't have to worry about your menses every month, right? You're free. You're free. But poor Merb, she's flowing heavily. She flows heavily. Um, so, but they got cups for that Merb too, just in case Jimmy, they got cups for that. So when you're during that time of the month, no worries, no worries. But anyway, Kegels are good for that too. Yeah, yeah. You live in a hospital. Oh, you mean the hospital bed at your house? Oh, that's right. So does anyone have any question about the Kegel balls? And they're silicone, which is great. They're easily washable, right? With a little bit of warm soapy water. They get the hook, the tie on it with a circle, so you can hang it from your you can hang it from your window shade to let it dry, or you can use it on your in between Kegel exercises. You can hook it to your window shade to make it go up and down. There's a lot of uses. You can attach it to like a wagon, your shopping cart. If you got one of those carts that you see a lot of older people with they live in an apartment. It's like this black cart, you if you want to pull it with that instead, because your hand, gripping the handles on these carts, especially if you have arthritis in your hands. There's amazing ways you can use it. At least not steel. And 50 Shades of Grey Kegel balls offer a fourth weighted ball, not just 3, 4. Yes, London, hang it from the car rear view mirror. That'd be good. That's excellent. They come in pink, light pink. You can get all different colors. All different colors. Clackers. You can hang it on your zipper. You know how sometimes zippers are hard to, when you're zippering up your pants and zippering down your pants, especially if you've got stress incontinence and you're constantly having to use the bathroom, right? Just attach it to your zipper. Just pull it down, pull it up. It would be so much easier. So if you have a gaping hoo-ha, you can't lose them either. No, you can never lose them. No. They have a silicone like string, but it's silicone um, with a circle at the end that you can put your finger through. It's not like a tampon where you have to squeeze the end of the string. It's got a circle, which is very adaptive. Just put your finger through, or your partner can do it too. Who knows? Disco Kegel balls. Mm. You want to see? Oh, let me find Kegel. There's one woman. She's really funny. Um, is that the one? Let me look. Hold on. See if this is on.
Of the week. For those that don't know me, I am a sex educator,
All right, let me see if I can, how did I do this? Present. Share screen. Oh boy. Chrome isn't letting me. Let me go to Safari, bringing up videos. Oh, I can't find it now. It was funny. It was this, oh my God, this woman, she was so funny, describing same Kegel balls that Merv reviewed. Stop sharing. Okay. Anyone want to come up? Learned pelvic tilts in 79 with a holistic pain management program. Patient for 7 weeks, taking nothing but aspirin for 12 years for pain. Helped keep me upright and mobile, which also included Kegels. I have a very strong core since very young because of it. Wow. Open your legs. It's a party. So I can drop a link. So, but my main reason, even though we got sidetracked onto Kegel exercises and Kegel balls, sex toys, is that, just to get our mind off of Merv for a little bit, laugh about her. But again, look at my playlist and, in fact, let me see if, and really, get educated about narcissism. Um, playlist. It's under Discovering the Narcissist. Um, so there's 7 videos in there. Covert narcissist. And that's how I learned, to cope with it. It's not a perfect solution, but it sure helps that, when anybody talks bad about you, um, really bad, and they have narcissistic traits, it does help to understand where narcissism comes from and why they're doing it. And some people might feel compassion for a narcissist because they realize that there are people that hate themselves. The narcissist, she hates herself. She can't get out of her own way. So you've got to understand where narcissism comes from. It has nothing to do with what you did or didn't do. Um, she's just taking out her pain, her misery, her unhappiness on other people. And it feels best to her to throw it on other people to make her feel better. It's sick and it's not right and it's not fair, but that's exactly what she's doing. Hi, Lola. It can come from trauma. Yes, absolutely. It can come from trauma, but it also can come from being spoiled, you know, um, getting all the attention as a child and not even having any trauma, being a spoiled brat, um, parents giving in or saving face, um, and that's also in my playlist. So yeah, but yes, I agree. A lot of it does stem from trauma. Um, or some kids grow up with a narcissistic parent as well. Um, and there are studies done that um, some people they believe are actually born with it, you know, and that again borders like on narcissism, the psychopath. Um, and again, the psychopath, and some narcissists do feel compassion, not a lot, but they can feel compassion. The psychopath, again, cannot. And that's like with someone like Mummy Ramblings. I've never seen her I never see her exhibit compassion. If you ever notice when she would, after the end of her lives, want to pray for people, and I've seen people pray, on their live streams, praying for someone who's sick and, saying an actual prayer from the Bible, or, you know, um, and you can feel their compassion. Um, with Merb, it's, how did she put it? Oh, yeah, at the end of her life, prayers for anyone who needs them. Prayers for anyone who needs them. That's it. It's like, what? That's not how you reach out to people and, wanting to pray for them. There are people who are sick and there's prayers for anyone who needs them. Bye. It's like, yeah. So she just can't. She can't. She doesn't have that ability, that capacity for compassion. Attention seekers. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It has to be about them, always about them. And when you hear Merp talk, you know, it just blows my mind that so many people have been hurt by her. And it's me, then join a choir. Me. That's what she sounds like. Join a freaking choir, Merp. But it's all about her. And again, weaponizing, using her dead dog, that we made fun of that. No, I remember that very well. Your dog was killed. You went live. You blamed us somehow for your dog's death. See what you did. See what you did. I haven't recorded that whole live stream. See what you did. But even if you replayed it to her and say, listen to it, she won't. She'll be like, no, no, no. Look what you did. Look what you did. My dog is like it was our fault. And she kept walking. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show all of you my dead dog. This is what you want, isn't it? This is what, no, it was what she wanted. It was what she wanted. And then, her son sitting next to a dead dog, not covered, bleeding from injuries. And I kept thinking, she's not going to do it. She's not going to do it. Jimmy's going to stop her. Jimmy's going to stop her. No, she kept going. And it was like, when you see an accident and you don't want to look, but you look. And I kept thinking, no, I pulled over. I was in my car. I pulled over and I said, no, she's going to stop. She's not going to show this. This is just another manipulation tactic of hers. And she showed it. Because I kept saying, I don't want to see it. I'm going to shut it off when she gets up to that dog. But it was like it happened so fast. And I immediately went live. I was so ticked off at her. Everybody was. So for her to say, we were horrible when her dog died. No, not at all. We were mad that you did what you did and put it on a live stream. You're huffing away down the street from one house to the other in your Crocs. I'm going to show them. I'm going to show them. Look what they did. Look what they did. Yeah, you're right. That's how she does everything. It's all our fault. Very astute observations. It was what she wanted. Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's what she wanted, not anything we did. We were all living our day that day, minding our own business. I was on my way to visit my mom, who was in the hospital. It was a beautiful day. People were doing their thing, and she went live. She brought this. We didn't drive the truck. We speculated that maybe Jimmy might have hit him by accident. There's no proof. It's an opinion. It's an opinion. And she does have cameras outside of our house, but refused to look at the cameras. Why? Because she didn't need to, because we know. Come on. UPS doesn't go up driveways like that. No, they don't take off if they hit a dog. So just what she was saying, it just made more sense that it was an accident and Jimmy most likely hit that dog. It was a baby. It was small. She couldn't wait to blame everyone. Yeah, you're right. She couldn't. The minute she went live, gonna show them. My jaw hit the floor. I was like, is this for real? Just like when she lost her iPhone. Is this for real? And again, everything with her is perfection. No apologies ever. No, even agreeing to disagree. Nothing. It's like, no, you did this. You did this to me, I. For as long as I've known her online, she can't do any wrong. And when you look at that, it's just like, nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes, but not Merb. No, she's a saint. She's Saint Merb. It made me cry to see that dog. She was thoughtless. Some of us have real hearts for dogs. Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. And we won't remember it. I mean, we won't forget it. Imagine her kids. That is like what Dr. Phil describes as a pivotal moment in someone's life. Those children will never, ever forget that. Not only losing their dog, but their mom online, ranting and raving like a lunatic, not showing compassion to the dog, not showing her children, um, giving them privacy, to honor their dog in private and to grieve their pets in private. No, it was about her. It was about her. You feel terrible for those kids. Yeah. Yeah. Who are they? She is they. Right. Exactly. So understand, again, the narcissist, it is never about the other person. It is about them. Them. Everything she spews is about her because they do not like themselves. It's self-hate. Right, who wants to show a little dead dog to her small children? Not like that. That poor dog was on a wooden pallet on a porch. If it were my dog, even though it would be dead, I'd put a pillow under its head. I would cover it, you know? Um, I was like that even when my mom passed, when hospice came to clean her, and I was frantic, and I'm like, please keep the pillow under her head. Don't lay her flat down, please, as if she was still alive, and not not MERB. Many kids are reaching adulthood and suing parents or blasting them all over the internet. Really? Wow. I can see that. Interesting. Did you read about that? Or um kids suing. Or isn't that too with 19 kids and counting? Um can your kids sue you for oversharing on social media? Oh, and the Huffington Post has a it's called Sharon's. Parents who overshare online are creating a digital footprint for their children before kids can give their consent. All right, let me post this. This is a good article. Thank you for that. This is a good kids on parents. Thank you. Yeah, I can see that. Invasion of Privacy Act. Yeah, kids need to have rights too. Especially kids who grow up, like I always said with Merb, her life is behind the camera, even when she's interacting, talking with her kids. And I used to see, where kids like, you know, go to their mom for something, or like when her son was in that kayak stuck in a bunch of weeds in the lake or whatever. Um, and she's just videotaping it. I mean, so here's a child and there's a camera between his mother and him. It's just weird. It's just weird. So interesting, irrelevant. Yeah, no, she never should have done that. But again, anything that makes it about her, she'll do, you know? I'm sure she was angry that her dog was killed. So rather than her have to deal with it, right? And take accountability, maybe for not having her dog leashed up, um, or watched properly, it's easier to blame other people, right? Do you get what I'm saying? Do you follow? So she doesn't have to look at herself and say, we should have leashed him up, being that there's a leash law in her county. We should have paid more attention. Um, so she blames everyone from this like facetious UPS or FedEx driver, which they don't they don't leave and take off like that. They don't just kill your pet and take off. Um, But that's a good example of her having to be accountable for being irresponsible with that dog and turning it on other people and blaming all of it. Because she came on and said, "Look what we did. Us, us, her haters," as she calls them. "Look what we did." I've got it recorded somewhere on my phone, but I recorded it. It just doesn't seem she has a connection with the family. No, narcissists don't have a connection with anybody. The only connection they'll have is if they want to hurt you. They'll connect that way. They want a reaction from you. So again, the best thing to do is not give her that reaction. And it's hard, especially online when someone trashes you. You want to defend yourself. But I think at this point, because MRB is just rinse and repeat and spin, um, I think people know her game at this point. Because that's all she's doing is bringing up the same crap over and over. You were watching too, Art Studio? She lives out in the sticks. Doesn't allow Lyme protection for her dogs or treat her lawn for Lyme. 2 of her dogs died from Lyme. That is animal abuse. Yeah, because ticks, I think they create anemia, which doesn't that ultimately kill the pet? Jimmy raises the boys. She chooses to work overnight to absolve all responsibility during the day. Well, according to her, she doesn't need that much sleep. She's like a, super mom. But she should get sleep because there's studies out. Lack of sleep is a contributing factor to dementia. Yeah, you were. Yeah. Yeah, my live is still up. I think it's still up. When I went live about that, I was so mad. Merb is perturbed and disturbed. Is she still live? Let me check. Yep. Let me just read her chat. Kate O says, "I felt relief tears from you tonight, Mommy." You go, Scooter. Yes, Merp, you are describing a mafia or gang mentality. So she's getting a lot of fuel from her comments. Video Reel says, "Sending you all love, light, hope, faith, and compassion." You should have put in a priest too. Send her a priest too. Carolyn, "Don't let anyone take your joy away. I miss your smile." When did she ever smile? If she smiled, her face would crack. This woman never smiles. But see, this is what, she wanted. Everyone's, "Oh, poor Carolyn, poor Carolyn." And if you go in there and ask a question like, "Why did you show your dead dog on a live stream?" and do that, she'll ignore the comment completely. And you'll probably be blocked. What did Jamie say? Let me go up. She had 10 dogs in 12 years. What the actual fuck? You give your dog frontline and line booster. Good girl. Lack of sleep related dementia. Yes. Yes. I think that study came out a couple of years ago. And they looked at nurses too that work overnight shifts. Because I've done 2 overnight shifts in my whole career. 2. And one of them was a year ago. And you can't get a full 8 hours sleep when you come home with the light. But they also did studies on nurses, with forgetfulness, memory problems. It's interesting. Does anyone want to come up? J-May, you want to come up? And 2, if you don't watch people like MRB, especially if she's going after you, what you don't know won't hurt you. It's amazing, when you're off the internet and living your life, it can't touch you. It can't. What you don't know doesn't hurt you. She's been on 3 hours. It shows of her ranting. It's supposed to be for all her people. They never get a chance. That damn crown. Oh, what's the banner? You stream us because you want to be us. How childish. You stream us because you want to be us.
Are you there?
Yes. Hi, how are you?
Hi, hon. I'm great. I had such a nice night out with my friend. We drove 12 miles to go to my favorite restaurant.
Oh, wow.
And I ordered a whole second meal to bring home so I can have it tomorrow.
I know, right? I've done that before.
Yeah, we had a great time. Anyway, yeah, I can't watch more because, as you know, my dog Anna Hope cannot stand her voice, and it panics her. So, but everything Merb has ever done about dogs panics me. And I just find the woman to be completely a narcissist, even about animals, which I cannot understand at all. And I cannot condone it.
Yeah, narcissists, they don't have compassion for animals either. They just don't have it in them.
Well, no other living being really exists to them, because if we did exist, or if animals did exist, they would have to be reminded constantly of their inability to attach in a healthy manner.
Right, and the key word is inability. So HD Tudor was a guest on someone's channel a couple of years ago, and he answered questions in the chat, and somebody proposed the question of, if you saw an elderly woman crossing the road and she fell, wouldn't you not feel bad? And he said no. He said no.
Yeah, because he doesn't. It doesn't. I dated a sociopath, and they do not have the feelings, and they're so busy holding up their mask. They have a mask of sanity and a mask of humanity and a mask of approval that they wear, and it takes everything they have to keep that mask up, because even they realize deep down inside that they are so flawed, but they can't accept that they're unworthy. They just can't.
Right.
But even an animal, I know it sounds really harsh, but dogs, you probably just heard my dog lapping up a bunch of water because we're enjoying a nice sunny, well, it's night, but it's really warm out tonight, and she's drinking water on the deck. And I just don't understand how anybody can have 10 dogs die in 12 years. I don't understand it. And then she got more dogs. See, even Anna hates it. That was her. I know, baby. Can you believe it? You're okay, though. I spoil you. Yeah.
Yeah, and
It's
just her performance of showing that dog dead proves that she has no compassion.
well, you know, every other mother I know would not think of picking up and going live. They would sit down with their children
Right.
and comfort them and explain
Yeah.
to them. I mean, I lost a dog, my kid's first dog, and she got liver cancer. And oh, Anna's acting up now. She wants to sit on my lap. 87 pounds, not on my lap. Um, and the vet told me to put her down in his office when I was in there, but my kids were with their dad for the weekend. And I said, can you drain some fluid and give her some pain meds? I can't just have them come home tonight with this dog gone, you know? And
Yeah.
we all slept outside with her because, you know, she was sick a lot. And we all got sleeping bags and we all just slept and we surrounded her with love. And it was such an important time to teach my children, you know, compassion for every soul, and animals do have souls. Look at
Yeah.
how much they love us, regardless of what kind of
And
idiots we are.
there's a saint, Saint
It's
Assisi,
Saint Fiacre. I
yeah,
have
of
a statue of
all
him. Yeah.
animals. So, that's in the Bible too, Merb. Um, so Florida Gray lady says, how many of you caught the mess about the ex-husband that Merb was talking about? I didn't watch it tonight.
I didn't
God,
watch her either. I was out having fun.
yeah. Was she trying to like put her ex-husband in a good light or a bad light? What is her problem tonight? If anyone can give a very abridged version. Rosie,
I
yeah.
mean,
She's a narcissist.
she's a narcissist,
Nobody
totally
was talking
scheming.
about her, right? So BBT stopped talking about her. I don't know if anyone else was really talking about her. And that's when they start to feel, oh, wow, people have really moved on and don't talk about me. They need that narcissistic supply, and then they'll start up with crap to get it going again.
Well, she's going to be disappointed because most of the views, her average viewers are less than 40 every night. And most of these uptick in views are people who don't like her that are just taking clips of how awful she is. And that's not success. I put up a community post. I call BBT and MERB the in the YouTube circus, they are the circus freak twins. And I put up a community post about MERB and what she's doing to people, calling them what it was worse than demagogues. It was like, what do they call those mass murderer leaders or whatever? And MERB has absolutely no boundaries. And that's another trait of narcissism. No boundaries.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're both just, they can't misbehave with each other because court's coming up. And
Yeah, I don't know if it's because they were court ordered, but usually if a judge orders you to stop talking about somebody, it's kind of like a cautionary tale. It's like, look, just stop it altogether about anyone. So you're
well,
repeating the same behavior with other people.
right.
You just pick a different person to go
Well,
after.
yeah. Yeah, and this fulfills MERB's happiness because of her narcissism comes from winning against other people, and because it holds up her mask to portray herself as this pious do-gooder. And look at all these evil people, they're ban evading. Well, no, she's not. And it's based out of jealousy and needs. The needs of a narcissist are endless, and they will need you to death if you don't just cut them out of your life.
Yeah. Oh, okay. She's talked about her ex-husband before. Yeah, being the blended family. Yeah.
Well, I think
Why are you divorced then if he's so great,
the ex-husband, the thing that blows my mind is I was sent a photo of him and he looks like he could be Jimmy's older brother. They're both short little men that even look alike. I mean, Merb has a type, okay?
Yeah,
And maybe she thinks if they're shorter, it's easier to manipulate them.
that is
But
true. That is true. That is true. Narcissists will seek out a partner who is insecure or, because they have more control over them. That is absolutely true. I don't know about height, but I've known people in my real life who I believe are narcissists, and their husbands were just, they weren't the strongest guys. I mean, mentally, like, they were
they were
sensitive,
missiles. Yeah.
um, and they could control them easier.
Yeah, but healthy people don't want a partnership like that.
Right. Well,
And
in the beginning, if it's a covert narcissist, they don't see it coming, you
I
know?
didn't. I didn't.
Yeah, they don't see it coming.
But I'll tell you, the word I got was that when her first husband remarried, he married a lovely woman that everybody likes, and they're very happy. And that Merb is always nervous as a cat when they have to do things like a wedding or a family thing where everybody shows up for a holiday or something at the restaurant. Then Merb is just nervous as a cat. Of course, because that's the way narcissists are. Because, the first husband knows a lot about her and dumped her. So she's going to be a little walking on eggshells around him because he could reveal her. I don't think he has any interest. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy to me that, done is done. And he seems to have a very happy life.
Yeah, someone mentioned, he's looking for a way out. I don't think so. I think first of all, the house isn't even in his name. Where would he go? He doesn't work. Um, I don't know where they met, hybrid. I've heard they met at an AA meeting. I heard they met at the Family Foundation School. I don't know how they met.
I don't
Um,
know either. Well, and I don't really care. What bothers me is that he enables her in the worst ways. And that just, if I were a narcissist and somebody cared enough about me to marry me, if they told me to behave, I would probably want to make them happy and I'd probably start trying to behave. I'd probably go to counseling,
yeah,
you
well,
know?
you don't know how she treats him. It's
Yeah,
awful.
we do. She threw hangers at him on the
Yeah,
ground.
no, asked for hangers. He was doing something outside, and she got him, and she threw them at him, and they landed on his feet.
And he bent over and picked him up.
Yeah,
I would have stood there and said, "Excuse me, what is that? Get those picked up and hand them to me like a decent, mature adult."
yeah,
I mean, really, it's if you but he's very conditioned to this. He's lived
yeah,
with her a long time now,
yeah.
so
And we all have one life to live. Can you imagine living it like this? We have one life to live. That's it. One chance at this merry-go-round.
well, I always think of that adage, people have two lives to live. They have two lives, but they realize the first one is spent finding out you really only have one life.
Yeah,
So live a mindful, conscious life, make good choices, do good things. And the thing I don't understand, well, I know it's because she's a narcissist, but when you get so much negative feedback from all around you, your nearest and dearest, at some point you don't ever ask yourself, Is it me?" I mean, look at the hundreds of people that she has turned and burned, and they've left her, and she's still on live streams acting like it's everyone else.
right. She makes a
And that's a
fool out of
very
herself.
narcissistic thing.
It's embarrassing. I mean, I just want to say, do you listen to yourself ever? But she does. She's a narcissist. Okay. The, the video of you and BB together disgusts me with her. What? The video of you and BB together? disgust me with her. I don't practice social distancing. What video?
Oh, when you were at the cemetery and you had a mask on and
Oh,
BBT
shit.
didn't.
Yeah. I took that video down, actually. Honestly, I wasn't pleased that Hell to the No put that in there. I'm like, no, don't do this to me.
Well, yeah, I understand that, but they're at this point, BBT and Mommy Ramblings are twins. They they do everything the same, and it isn't working for either of them.
I don't watch BBT anymore. Yeah,
Yeah, I
I've
don't
been
either.
with a
But
lot of
well,
people. I've been like that in my real life as well. You know?
well, Hell to the No asked me to go watch a live of BBT's a couple days ago,
Yeah.
and I said it's not there. And I remember BBT going off many times about Natasha being a dirty deleter, but now BBT's just like that. BBT's a dirty deleter.
Are you
So
sure?
it's
Are you sure they just weren't taken down? Because sometimes she would play music and it would be banned. A
well, no,
particular
she wrote on it. She wrote, I was watching the tail end of it when it went off, and I clicked on it again to start it from the beginning to find what Hell to the No was talking about. And it said this video is private.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know.
So it wasn't taken down by anyone else. BBT privated it. And I thought, well, isn't that the same as dirty deleting? And that's my fundamental problem with a lot of these people on YouTube is you can't go after them for something you're guilty of. It's hypocritical.
Mm.
I even screenshot a clip of Veronica, one of BBT's favorites, saying to Natasha, "You people don't have any business talking about how BBT spends the money we give her." Well, I think talking about other people's money is low class and stupid and revealing. And so if Veronica doesn't want people talking about BBT's e-begging, then why is she concerned about how Natasha spends her money? And really,
Yeah.
I don't care who gets the money. I never want to be a big enough channel. I want to be just enough to make community posts and some videos now and then. And I'm right there, so I'm happy. But if I ever did grow to the point where I could monetize, I personally would refuse to do it because YouTube is an unreliable source of income, and it's not a feel good way to make money, in my
No,
opinion.
I would not use it, especially to make it my job. Like, don't quit your day job kind of thing. Like, it's too stressful, and it's just not this community. Like other channels, everyone's fighting over donations. Everybody.
Well, and it's just
They're fighting,
nobody's
and it's
business.
like it's everywhere. It's everywhere now.
Well, it's YouTube's business plan to get people into their platform by making money available, and so it's kind of and then they make more money too. And if people want to donate to somebody, it's none of my business. And what they do with the money is none of my business. My dad told me when I was 10, other people's money is none of your business. Mind your own money. And I just took that to heart, and he was right. It's the best way to live.
I think
And
it becomes people's business. Like if someone says they're raising it for a certain, like
a certain
a
purpose that is
lawyer,
agreed.
okay?
Well, actually, that is called theft by deception. If you are advertising, if you go up to somebody and say, I have cancer, I need money, can you donate to me? And then it turns out they find out you don't have cancer, you can actually charge them with a specific charge called theft by deception.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people who've gone to prison for doing
For
that
false,
online. Oh
yeah,
yeah, you
it's
can
a
even look
crime.
that they've raised hundreds and thousands of dollars. They've shaved their heads. And it's just unbelievable. And we all know, well, you guys might not, but if you remember Analyzer,
Oh, yeah.
Miss Analyzer, who's now Pandora B, she changes her name. She was Lady of the Light Bulb or whatever. God, she came on to YouTube. Her introduction was that she said she did true crime at first, but I never saw her. I just didn't come in at that time. I came
She
in at the time
lied
when
about
she
having
told
cancer,
everyone she
didn't
had a
she?
terminal cancer. Um, and she didn't ask for donations, but she pulled on heartstrings, and a lot of us donated. And she got busted because, there's people were smarter. I mean, she claimed to have multiple myeloma, which is deadly. At that time, my ex-boyfriend of God, I knew him for over 30 years, was actually diagnosed with multiple myeloma at that time. She came out and said she had multiple myeloma. So I knew a lot about that disease, because I was, with my friend going to the hospital visits with him and learning about stem cell transplants and all that. So when she ever said that she was in the ER with her son getting a stem cell transplant, I knew right away that was wrong, because my friend had just gone through it, and it takes weeks to set up. You don't go to an ER and just ask for a stem cell transplant and they give it to you. No, it doesn't work that way. So she got busted. But
Well,
you know,
and if somebody is going to say, give me money for this or that or this or that. Now, personally, I've watched Natasha for 2 years, and I know she gets a lot of support, but she makes funds like I'm going to the casino because these people are jerks. So if they want to give to that, that's great. I don't have a problem with that. But when you say you're going to donate, I need donations because I have cancer, that's a sign to me that a person is a narcissist, because they have no conscience about lying to someone yet taking their money. And that's kind of a red flag to me, you
yeah,
know?
because I haven't watched, so Miss Analyzer, God, I haven't watched her in probably close to 4 years now. And even with her, I remember, and I was never part of her community, or I had her over my channel a couple of times, because she wanted to be friends and she was acting sweet. But I learned quickly that she was very toxic, and I never talked about her. I did some parodies on her. But after that, it was like she would bring me up and I would react, and I'm like, what are you doing? And then another year would go by and she'd bring me up. And I'm like, oh my God, she's probably a narcissist because they don't like being ignored. And she would,
Right. That's that. Yeah. They don't like being ignored.
so I just stopped reacting to her completely. So I haven't heard anything that she's brought me up in probably 3 years, maybe now, or 2 years. Um, but if I hear that she does, if someone texts me, oh, she's bringing you up, I'm like, don't care.
Yeah, I
Don't,
don't care either. BBT
know.
never does a live without mentioning me and lying about me. So I just don't watch. I don't care because I know that she's full of it. But it's a warning sign for people that you I guess BBT got outed with some photos at an ice cream store on her live, and she it is quite alarming that she doesn't look like we thought she'd look. And she had a meltdown about it, and that's because narcissists can't stand it if you take off their mask. They walk around with this mask of sanity and mask of perfection and mask of appropriateness and piety. And they know they aren't that. And then when somebody else does something like shows this horrifically unflattering photo, then they go after the narcissist, will just pound it and try to shift the attention back to, they're only doing this because I had cancer, and they're only doing this because I did that. And it's very telling. It's just so easy to predict.
I don't even I don't know if she's a narcissist. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't watched her in a long time, and like I said when I left her, I wish her all the best. I'm disappointed that she's a defendant honestly, I feel bad. But we
Well,
had a relationship at one
why,
point, so I don't feel bad for saying I feel bad. I do. I do feel
but
bad.
I want someone to explain to me um, how all the terminology, all this legal bull crap is being thrown around. Like I'm going to go legal and I'm going to sue you and I'm going to sue you for slander and I'm going to sue you for,
It's everywhere, though.
come on, come
Everywhere
on.
today.
They don't even know the terms, what the terms mean. And it's all just to conflate and incite to, you know, diminish someone else and put their mask forward. And, but it's so stupid. I'm
It's
surprised a legal
everywhere.
case.
It's just not this community. You go around YouTube and find these drama communities, everybody's saying the same thing. Everyone's talking legal mumbo jumbo, and they're gonna sue, and they're raising money to sue people, and nothing ever
Well,
happens.
like it was a hate crime. He said it was a hate crime that some her assistant as dog bounty hunter because BBT, I guess, went off about trying to find out who held to the nose. And so the whoever made the photo interpreted, oh, BBT's got a bounty, and so she made this funny photo of their faces inserted into Dog the Bounty Hunter and his wife. And she said that's a hate crime. Well, so I made a community post, the legal definition of a hate crime. And I just wish people would stop throwing these terms out to get attention and mislead. It misleads everybody about what is real and true and factual. And I'm just a bugaboo about that. I'm a geek. I like things, you know,
I honestly
precisely.
I saw that photo, and the first thing I thought of was, "That's Dog the Bounty Hunter."
I did too.
I
And I
mean,
thought
not
it was kind of
her,
funny.
but yeah, like, I got it, you know? I don't know. I don't know. I just I can't anymore. I'm not on YouTube as much anymore. It's just for
Either.
what? For what? For this shit, the fighting, everybody. Everybody.
Well,
I'm
and
not perfect
if you're
either,
gonna,
but just everyone just wants to hurt everybody. And it's back and forth and back and forth. And I don't know.
well, and a narcissist will have a death grip on their narrative, their false narrative. You know, they cling to it despite tons of evidence that they're lying, and you cannot convince them. You know, you couldn't ever sit down and define hate crime for BBT so that she understood what it really is. She would refuse to listen because it doesn't fit her false narrative. And that's what burns me out about YouTube. That's why I go out with my friends more because I don't enjoy it. That's not enjoyable. You're stupid. It's stupid to think you can go legal for something you don't even understand. And if you're going to waste your money doing that when the reality of your life is already so pathetic, you're just, I don't know. It's my mom and dad used to call those people losers, you know?
Well, I think the best thing to do is to consult with an attorney
Well, do you think, but a narcissist doesn't
and to
even
see if
listen to their
that's
attorney.
hate crime. I mean, you know,
Well,
or look it
it's
up
so
online,
time.
like videos of what are hate crimes. I don't know. It's just all
Well,
just
you have to look for them, and if you're selling, if you're pitching a false definition of it, you're not going to look for it and put it on your channel. You're going to just sit there and scream hate crime. And it's manipulative and it's unpleasant. And I just find it really tiresome. There's a lot of fun to be had on YouTube with good people. And one of the things that bothers me is that when I first subscribed to Mommy Ramblings, is I met a lot of people in her chat that we really chatted and had fun and I had affinity for them and we kind of grew these friendships. And then when people started leaving clumps at a time, and then I try to find them somewhere and reach out to them and say, "Hey, what happened?" And they tell me, about dirty in the dark stuff that Merb would be doing to them. And now now I'm just a regular person who had a kind of friendship or affinity for someone I met on YouTube. And we don't have a coordinated effort against her, but she sees it that way and paints it that way. It's really that, hey, we were all here and met each other and got along great, so we want to keep that friendship going
Mhm.
and have more good times, whether it's on another channel or not. But Merb turned it into, we're all conspiring against her, and we're all doing some kind of, Hitler type actions against her. And it's nonsense. It's just so nonsense. She can't, it ruins it for everybody, I think. It ruined it for me. I
Yeah,
just keep making community
but there's a
posts about the
solution.
truth.
There's a solution. Just don't watch.
Yeah, that's the thing. Go out to dinner with your friend and
I've
have
been
a great
doing these
time.
articles before, and um, good night, Art Studio. Thanks for coming by. Um, it all it does is create upset on both sides. I don't think anybody feels good.
Well, no, because
Nobody feels good
none of
about
these people are living their best life. And they're obviously not happy. You can just watch Merv for 5 minutes and go, this is a miserable human being. She is acting out and reaching out to everybody and misconstruing things and attacking. She can't be happy. None of this is going to get her to what she really wants out of life.
Well, I think
The
too
rest of
that
us,
the fact that she takes ownership in going after BBT really inflated her ego even more.
which
Like,
is
look
a,
at me now with the stupid crown on her head. You know, I got you. I hurt somebody. That must be the ultimate power trip for
a
her.
winning because they want to win
Yeah,
because helps hold their mask up.
yeah.
And their mask keeps slipping, and when a bunch of people ditch you because you were horrible to them, if they're still friends, then she creates this false narrative that we're all conspiring and talking every day and doing all these things. No, I fly solo. I still support my friends by viewing them and liking their videos and commenting on their stuff,
Mhm.
but I don't, I'm not easily led into groupthink. I don't do groupthink. I think for myself. And
So,
a narcissist can't accept people like me because my thinking for myself will eventually lead to me seeing them as who they really are and rejecting them.
so why do you think Merb did this recording from BBT? Why didn't Merb go charge her or have the DA charge her years ago? She
Well,
waited
because her
this
her
long.
channel wasn't, yeah, her channel wasn't tanking years ago. It's it's all related to the fact that she can't get anybody to watch her anymore, and so she has to do something.
Yeah, it's revenge. It's not to me, it's not about the recording. This is Merb's way of revenge. Because if it was truly, in Merb's eyes, oh, I was recorded without my permission, then why didn't she go after her when it happened? She waited what, 3 years? Two
Yeah.
and a half, 3 years?
Yeah, most people, I think
She
normal,
had to find something. That's what I feel like she did. She had to find something.
well, and healthy people, when they have a conflict, they want constructive conflict resolution. And neither one of these people, BBT and MERB, when they are attacking anybody, none of them want a solution. None of them want to settle conflict because they feed off of it.
Yeah,
And as a,
nobody wants to go on each other's channel. It's like, link up on a channel together and just talk it out, or call each
well,
other in private. Because
be-
they talk on live streams like you're there and watching, you know, like um, like when Merv talks about Bitey Cat, as if Bitey Cat, she assumes Bitey Cat is watching. It's like, it's weird. It's like, why are you so sure that she's even watching you? It's like she's getting off on just thinking in her mind Bitey Cat is watching me. You know, this is my
I'm getting
chance.
her now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the funny thing is she assumes everybody's watching her because she thinks that we have that same energy that she has.
Yeah, that
And
grandiose.
most because she's adversarial. She has to have an adversary in order to make herself look better. And so she's always and when she finds somebody she can be adversarial to, she just doesn't let up. It's a death grip. And I just find that to be completely base. It's so boring. It's so, it's not entertaining. It's not informative. It's revealing you for being a jerk. And I don't watch jerks.
Yeah.
I don't have a flavor for it. I just don't.
So you can only control what you can. And the only thing I
Yeah.
can control is don't watch. Because I've been down that, like I said, I've been down that rabbit hole and it affects you. It does. It'll
Oh, it does.
create depression. It will keep you up all night. It will, it does. It affects you. And
And
it's
then
just
you
not worth it.
look at how much time Merb spends on YouTube because she may be live for 2 or 4 or whatever hours every day. But she's busy in the background filling up her 5 gigabytes of resentments against all these people, and she does it even when you're her friend. She collects the information and stores it and then uses it against you when you see who she really is and you leave her. And then she wants to have the satisfaction of outing all this personal information about you that she got when she was your friend, and she wants you to be listening because she still has to win because that's her game.
Yeah. So
And
the people who
and
left her that I know of didn't go on a live stream and say anything about her. What I remember is a lot of people who left her said good things, and that's this, they wanted to move on for whatever reason. That's how I remember it. So she was the one that, to me, seemed to put her claws in it and start talking crap about everyone who left her. And you're going to tell me all these people who left her are liars? All of them? No.
yeah, exactly.
It would be impossible to
I
get
had
everybody together and plan some scheme. It would be impossible.
well,
Statistically, it would be impossible.
I know for a fact that nobody in my group of friends cares enough about MERB or BBT to do that. And we don't want to spend our time. I know for sure. I don't want to spend my time rifling through other people's lives and watching all their gross stuff and taking notes. I have a life I'm living that is much more fulfilling than doing that. But Merb is fulfilled and she's addicted to it. I mean, she has these kids that are in, one of them I think is in high school and one's in junior high. They're going to be gone in the snap of a finger.
Oh, yeah.
And she is going to, and once they get out in the real world, they're not going to keep coming home. Like her older 2 kids don't visit her very often, because it's, okay, we got to do FaceTime with mom. Okay. And they're off living their best life.
Mhm.
And her younger boys are going to look back on their childhood and all they'll remember is seeing her back in front of 5 screens and her screaming. And that's not a childhood,
Yeah.
and she's setting herself up to be an old lady whose kids call her on holidays and never visit.
Well, look what happened last Father's Day. Not this past Father's Day, the
Yeah,
year before. She locked
yeah,
herself in the bathroom because, it was all about Jimmy, right? All about someone else. It's Father's Day, not Merb Day,
right.
And just to take, the fun out of, that day that's dedicated to someone else but her. She had to ruin it.
Well, and somebody wrote that she neglects her children, and I do agree with that. But more so, even if you're at all selfish, you want the most time with your kids while they're, still under your roof, so that when they leave, you can have all those memories. of
It's so
doing stuff with them, and the funny things they'd say and do. You know, if you're glued to YouTube, you're missing so much of their development and the funny things they say and do, and opportunities to share your knowledge with them and prepare them for adulthood so they can be happy and self-sufficient, and you're just missing so many opportunities to take pictures with your heart so that you can pull them out and look at them when you're an old lady in the home, you know? And
exactly.
your kids don't visit. Those
Yeah.
kids don't visit those parents. I mean, my kids are always calling me and inviting me to stuff. I got invited last week to go down to Southern California with my son and his 4 kids and his wife. And I couldn't go because I have some commitments here with the building thing. And I was so disappointed because, you know, time with, even when they're adults, I mean, my kids are in their 30s, and I still just, every time I'm with them, my heart is clicking through memories of them being different ages and saying and being this way or that. And it's just such a lovely thing. And life should be spent doing that. And she's not going to have any pictures that she's taken with her heart to rifle through and reminisce and be fulfilled, you know?
Yeah, and I read an article somewhere that when narcissists age, when they are old, they basically crumble. They
Well,
crumble,
and they are,
and they're alone.
they're very,
They're alone, and they
they're
don't have good memories. Yeah,
But they're starting studies now, and they find that narcissistic people with, I mean, we are all a little bit narcissistic, but the ones who are high on the spectrum of narcissism are really good candidates for dementia. And that's something significant that you should pay attention to. But, you know, for your own well-being, I do recommend, what I do is I pace myself. I click on and I click off. And when I see things that I think are unhealthy, I just automatically say, that's a red flag. I need to be doing my life now. And I'm not spending my life listening to that,
right. And
because it wears
clicking
you
off,
out.
yeah, clicking off. You might think, oh, this is going to be really hard. It's not as hard as you think. It's not. After about 2 days of not being on YouTube, you reap the rewards immediately, practically immediately, because it's like you're back into reality, the fresh air, you know. And then it
Normalcy.
yeah, yeah. So if you're somebody who can't click out, you know, and you've tried to stay out and you're addicted, it's an addiction. And you probably should seek help for it because it's just not healthy. Um,
Well, I
but
think it starts affecting your mental health when you're constantly viewing such negativity and such so many personality disorders, and you get sucked into the drama of it, and it can really start shredding your normal life, and it's just not healthy.
no.
And I watch who I watch, and I don't watch the clock and limit my time because I don't need to. I have a lot of other things that pull me away. And so I just click on when somebody messages me and says, "Oh, go look at this. This will kill you." You know, like I got a message about BBT's pictures on Natasha's channel. I was like, "Oh my God. Oh my God. Well, that's not a surprise." And I turned it off again and went and, you know, laid down with my dog, and, you know, well, she laid on me.
But don't you think if everybody just stopped responding, uh, there would be a different outcome?
Yes. Yes, I do believe that, because
Because it just goes
that's
on
what they
and
tell you.
on. And I think at this point, people have realized that no matter how many times they defend themselves, it still goes on and on and on. I don't have the tolerance. Maybe it's because of age. I I don't know anymore. I know that I reached my limit with YouTube.
Well, I just want to
Very
remind
few
people.
channels I go on, if any, anymore. I used to visit channels just because of the friends that were in there. I don't even do that anymore.
I think it's important to remember that, most people are affable, go along to get along,
Yeah,
somewhere in the middle of mentally healthy and, low grade disorders, if any. And when you come upon these people that are on the other side of the spectrum, it's important to remember if you need to look for red flags, and your primal brain, we have an animal primal brain that will warn us about things that are a danger to us. So sometimes you'll be watching somebody that you think you like, and then you see just horrific behavior out of them, like they're showing the dog. That's a red flag to you that this person may not deserve my attention and it might harm me. So don't be quick to be nice to everybody all the time. You need to remember that primal brain is working behind the scenes. And every once in a while, you do need to check in with it and say, hey, is this dangerous to me? And a lot of YouTube behavior is dangerous, I think.
yeah.
That's just my opinion. But
And
I,
what happens is when we first came here 4 or 5 years ago, words were enough to hurt somebody, right? Then you
right,
become desensitized, okay? And then they upped it a little bit, right? The SWAT calls started. And then people became desensitized to that because it was expected, you
right.
know? So it was no longer a shock. So then the CPS calls started. So they had to keep
Mm,
going up and up the ante to hurt other people by going into their real life. And I tell people this all the time. If you keep bitching and bitching and bitching, you're going to piss people off at this point in time where people are now resorting just to real life. And it's getting
mm.
worse and worse and worse. And it's
Yeah, and
like
it
if
it
you just stop the bitching on either side, because there are people out there who really want to see you suffer. And it's wrong, and it's wrong, and that's what they're doing now, So
why
why make the waves bigger, when there's no more SWAT calls anymore. There's no more CPS calls. It's now doxing, real life, whatever,
going after kids.
and
Yeah.
somebody is going to get hurt.
Well, at some point, if you don't detach from them entirely, you are stuck in a vortex of becoming their narcissistic supply, and they're feeding off of it, and it's sucking the life out of you. So when you see somebody whose behavior is alarming, it's no fun to watch a bomb explode a building full of people. Don't just you need to look away. It's reprehensible,
Mhm.
it's toxic, and you do have to save yourself. And it's why counselors tell people, if you're involved with a narcissist or a sociopath, you need to get out and get away from them now. Don't wait a minute. Just get away. And that's how I find myself feeling. My experience with MERB was like that. This is one of those cases where you have to get away. This is toxic. This is not healthy. I have to get out of here. And you leave, but then when you leave, you get lied about and whatever. But those lies don't hurt me. I know who I am. I know what life I live. I know
Yeah,
what's true. And
exactly.
and and I'm happy. And if I ever click her on, which I cannot do because my dog absolutely has panic attacks at the sound of her voice. And so I can't play MERB if my dog is always with me. And so I just don't. But even
But
dogs know.
that makes me sad because I wish people would respect themselves and love themselves enough to know that their truth that they know is enough. Because we know going online and defending ourselves over and over again doesn't work. So why isn't just knowing our own truth? Why is that not enough for some people?
Well, here's an example. I got a text the other day that MERB said on her live that She went on, she was showing my channel and she went on it and she found, oh, look, here's her PayPal.
Oh, she's
Well,
showing your channel now?
well, she was just showing my channel page, the about, and I have it that I have a dog charity that I'm tied with. It's a, what do they call it? A 501c. And my dog trainer started it because she has a nice big property and she takes in dogs from people, mostly older people who can no longer care for them. And they go and live with her, and then she tries to find them new homes. And there's a great expense to that in feeding and vaccinations and everything. And she's a dog trainer. She spends her time training them while they're living with her. And she asked me if I wanted to be involved. And I said, I'd love to. And I said, I can advertise it on YouTube for you. And she said, well, do you have PayPal? And I didn't have a PayPal. I've never, because I don't do that kind of stuff. I just use a credit card if I'm going to buy stuff. And so I set up that PayPal to link right to her 501c. And then Merb actually said, this is what I was told, that she said, well, why do you have your PayPal up? Aren't you rich? And I thought, I have never said anything about my financial situation. I wouldn't say anything about it. But that's the length that these people will go. So if you stay in there and she has anything that she can distort to attack you, she will. And so you're really not safe in places like that. And it doesn't bother me one bit because I know, and Lynette said, if I set up this PayPal, I could get a 10% discount on my dog training lessons because I go every week with my dog. And it's $180 for 6 weeks, an hour a week. And it's something that I deem very important in forging a relationship with my dog and to protect her by training her well. So I thought, well, that's fine. I'll put that up there, but I haven't pimped it at all. But she created this whole false narrative about it. And that's what they do. The false narratives are used to create more supply. They want to tick you off. But I've never said, I didn't clap back at her because it's pointless. She's just going to lie again. Whenever you clap back to them or stand up for yourself, then they have more supply and they spit out more lies. And
Exactly.
it's such a dirty cycle. And I know how it was set up. My dog trainer knows how it was set up. It's totally copacetic, and I don't pimp it. I've never said a word about it. It's
Yeah.
just quietly there if anybody ever went there and wanted to get involved in it, and I send people who do donate a copy of, there's a tax form for donations, and it has all her information of her 501c on it. It's not, the money doesn't come to me. But if I explain that to Merv, it wouldn't matter. She'd turn around and say that I'm Lynette, or something
Yeah.
totally whack. And so it's not even worth it to point it out to her because she'll just distort something else about me. And if you want to get stuck in that vortex, I mean, I would encourage everybody, if you are getting stuck in a vortex like that, love yourself enough to go do something else in your life, in real life, that is fulfilling. Have lunch with a friend. I take my dog to an elder care home because she's well trained, and so she can walk through and visit with people, because that's very good for older people to
Mhm.
have contact with animals. And it's so fulfilling, and my dog loves it. She has 500 friends at this place.
Yeah.
And
So,
it's a better way to spend my time than becoming somebody's narcissistic feed.
so that's what, I'm trying to tell people is don't respond to these people
That's right.
because
Just
once
don't.
you don't respond, they might still talk and talk and talk and talk, but eventually, you know,
They'll get tired because you're not clapping back. They'll give up
right,
on you and move on to someone else. And
exactly.
that's the goal. Move on, people, or get over it. I mean, there have been times when I was listening to Merb more often where if I heard the phrase grieving mother one more time, I was going to go out of my gourd. And I wanted to just email her and say, bury him already, would you? Come on. This is just manipulation. And if that's your identity in your whole life, It's a tragedy. It's a horrible thing that affected all of us, and we all felt bad. But to drag it around and mention it every single day in every email to every person you're trying to get to your side of this YouTube narcissistic supply, it falls flat. And I know it's a cruel thing to say to bury him, but I just hit my limit. I hit my limit and said, I got to go take Anna to the home because I need a refresher in my soul.
So who's Merb? So Merb is after Bitey Cat and Natasha Cooper, right? Mostly.
She's after Bitey Cat and Evie, and I think the narrative is that Bitey Cat and Evie Scorpio and Casbat and Hell to the No are all the channel Held to the No, which I know for a fact they aren't, and that these people are targeting her and doing to her what she does to them. And she called them a genocidal cult leader, a cult group. And I think that's a horrific thing. And I know these people aren't like that at all. And I know that they aren't doing what she says they're doing. They just happen to have made friendships on YouTube that they still keep in touch with. So Merb groups them all together and assigns some fantasy plot against her because that's what narcissists do.
But are they responding?
Well, I haven't really looked a lot lately. I think
No, I know I heard Bitey Cat responded. But I still think at some point, if everybody just stopped, that is the best revenge.
well,
I
it is
promise you
because
that. I
Merb's
promise
numbers.
you that.
Yeah. Well, you just have to make sure for your own sake that you aren't becoming somebody else's narcissistic supply. And in the outcome of that is that they'll fold up and move on to something else. You know. But I did make a post today about how the twins, the what I call the YouTube circus freak twins, are more like, and there's a slide on the one I put up today that says, none of the things you're putting your energy, this is a loose translation because I don't have it in front of me or remember it, but none of the things you're putting your energy in today are bringing you happiness. Why don't you stop acting like you deserve everything and go out and earn it? And I'm not just talking money. If you're sitting here lonely in your house, the best thing you can do is go volunteer somewhere. I volunteer at a battered women's shelter, and they have women and kids that live there. And that's a great place. And every time I come home, my problems disappear, and I feel I have new memories with new people and the feeling that you might have made a difference is a much better feeling than being somebody's narcissistic target.
But I
You
think it's
know?
easier. I think with some people, I think if there's trauma behind it, it's much harder for people to step outside of their comfort zone and volunteer or maybe even get a job. I mean, I just think there's more to a lot of people that we just don't know about. That's how I
Yeah,
look at it, because it's so
because not
simple
everybody
for
puts
you
their
to
crap.
say, just do this, just do that. But some people are paralyzed by trauma, whatever they're going through, um, and they don't have that capability.
But
You know,
being stuck in a channel that is sucking the life out of you isn't good for those people, especially.
but to some
They
people,
have to find something that they can do. Take up gardening. Go take a master gardening class.
but to
You
some
know,
people, they feel that's all they can control is their own channel. You know, they might feel on the outside, when you go to a job or whatever, they don't feel that maybe they're not in control of maybe to handle a boss or the pressure of a workload. I don't know, but it's very easy to get into a shitty rut on social media. It's
yeah, it is.
very easy just to get caught up in this shit, not get out of bed, scrolling, 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 and it becomes a way of life to a lot of people.
Well, it's kind of a behavior loop.
Yeah,
Somebody attacks you and you attack them and then they attack you and you're stuck in a loop. And
yeah,
I never have felt the need to answer back to all the crap people have lied about me. I don't care. And I noticed that when I stopped caring about what they said about me, I can still have opinions about them misusing terms like hate crime or harassment. But that's not personal to me. But when I don't clap back about the attacks they make on me, they mention me a lot less. And that's great. You know, I don't want to live under their skin. I'm pretty busy living in my own
yeah.
and having,
Yeah, Joseph is right. Someone has to be the bigger person and attempt to end it.
yeah.
Because when it goes on like this, nobody looks good. Nobody. When two parties are going at it over and over and over, it becomes like morphed into just this one big shit show. And then you start losing like a person's, like, you lose your own identity, I think, you know. Um, and then I would think your subscribers, I just can't believe that anyone would enjoy this for this long.
Well, and I think, well, healthy people um enjoy it at some point, and the solution is to withdraw from it because that will shut off their narcissistic supply. They can't hurt you. And really on YouTube, I mean, this is going real life stuff. Now, Merv went real life on me in a number of ways, but I did put protections in place and I'm ready. And she stopped talking about me. But she brings me up now and then just because when she gets out of her, you know, she's losing control, so she's lashing out everywhere, and so now I get mentioned here and there more, but I don't respond back to her about what she says about me. I don't care, and that pisses her off because you deplete their supply by doing that, and they move on to someone else, and that's the goal because they want to win. And most people, you know, it's much more fun to watch videos about furniture refinishing or antique dishes or genealogy, look up your ancestors. I mean, there's lots of other activities you can do on YouTube that are peaceful and not destructive to your well-being.
Well, if someone can do that and just go on certain channels, but I think it's a big temptation for people who've been sucked into these rabbit holes. They probably shouldn't be on YouTube for a while, you know?
Well, I owe
When
you a big
you're not,
gratitude.
your head clears out pretty quickly. It
I owe you a
clears out.
huge gratitude because you said, gosh, it must have been 8 months ago. You just said, turn your notifications off. So I went through all my subscriptions, you know, and turned off all the notifications except like yours and then some videos of other interests. They aren't drama, you know. There's only like 2 notifications I get from the drama community,
Yeah.
but most of them are other news sites or things I'm interested in personally. And it totally made it so much easier to disengage from all the crap because you're
Hmm.
not being reminded, oh, here's something you need to look at. This crazy person's going crazy again. Well, yeah, that's old news. But if I get a notification from you because we're friends, I always, you know, pop in. But,
Yeah.
you know,
And
turning
I
off
took
notifications.
I took the app off my phone completely. It's off my phone.
I'm not techy enough to figure that out, but
If I have to go to YouTube, I have to go to like Safari or Chrome and type it in. You know, it helped. Every little bit helps, but it wasn't that hard. It was not as hard as I thought it would be because it just takes
well,
a day or two, and it's like, oh my God, I'm back in my real life, and I don't fear that fear. I had more fear being in YouTube, listening to people, you know, than I do in the outside world with all the bad shit going on. But
yeah.
it's more enjoyable to be living in real life where you're not exposed to fighting and people actually say hi to you, strangers, or you know what I mean? It's just it's a different world. It's like, yeah,
Well,
this is the real life out here.
and the bottom line is none of these creators who are abusing people with their bad behavior, none of them give a darn about your happiness or your growth or your goals. Or if you're on a path, they don't care what you're up to in your real life that's bringing you satisfaction or the challenges you're facing. They don't care about those either. They just want your energy. They're a sucking black hole of need. And I just don't want to be that for anybody. I raised kids and worked hard and did a lot in my life, and I'm now at the point where it's fundamentally filling myself up with good experiences with real people
Yeah.
and not getting sucked into the black hole, you
I
know?
think that too, Jamie, comes with age also. I try to think back, in my 30s and 40s, if YouTube, if this existed back then, maybe I would have had the tolerance. A lot of it, I think, is just, I think when we get older, we have less tolerance for
Well,
bullshit.
you have your priorities sorted out. I love what Truth Tech said. I think clickbait income should go directly to ending homelessness. See, that's a crippling
Yeah,
problem all across this country. And a lot of these people are stuck for different reasons, but they're still stuck. And if you don't like seeing all these tents and broken down cars with people living them out on your street, we've got to energize and get together as people. Government's not going to take care of it, and we got to figure out some solutions because these are people. If they need certain kinds of help, then we got to figure out how to get them in there. And if they just need a job, it's but it's not really just age. I was so busy as a single mom and working all the time, working 2 jobs. I didn't have time for frivolous
yeah,
crap like
that's
YouTube.
true.
And so when I didn't even click on YouTube until I quit working to take care of my elderly mother. And she liked YouTube because she was into antiques. And then she got clicked into some drama thing, and she said, "Well, I think this is a nice lady." And after a while, I thought, "Okay, well, that can't hurt." And I was off, cleaning out her basement and stuff. And then started watching it, and I bought into the facade that Merv puts out at first. And then when I saw
Right.
during the J Bills thing, I saw a different side to her, and I thought, yeah, this is not a really good place to be. And then she came after me after all the crap, nobody cares about it. It's past. I don't live in the past. I'm making plans for tomorrow, and I'm trying to live my best life. And even though I am older than some, I'm not 90. I took care of a 93-year-old woman. I know what their life is like, and I'm really busy preventing that in 30 years, I don't want that to I want to be sitting there as satisfied as my mom ended up.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get that if I'm on YouTube being somebody's narcissistic supply.
Well, it'll be interesting. I always wonder in 5 years, where will everybody be? It probably won't be on YouTube. I mean, we've
Well,
made it 5 years, a lot of us, but this way, no.
well, I'm hoping to be in my little granny shack barndominium, and I just one of my friends is in a wheelchair, and she's, it's financially difficult for her. She was in a crippling accident when she was 18, and she's now 57. And rents are getting so high. I said, well, what if I modify my barndominium and put in an ADU unit, make it a little bigger, and make an apartment for you? And what about that? So we went to dinner and talked about it tonight, and I drew up some plans. And so I've got things that I'm working on, that I'm not going to be in Merb's chat 5 years from now. Let's just put it that way.
Right, right.
I just hope people make smart choices for their best happiness.
Like I said, I think everybody is tired. I don't care who you are, but
Well, the flaming out of
I don't
control
think
people
anyone
aren't
can
tired.
log off from a live stream, maybe except Merb or any other narcissist, and feel good. like they're winning. There's just no winning on YouTube. It's
Well, I'll
it's
tell you
it's
though,
that
I do.
digital world of I'm right, you're wrong.
Yeah,
There's no
I'm
gray
better than
area.
you.
It's black and white, like or dislike, love or hate. It's a digital world. There will never be compassion inside a digital world. It can't be created, you know, through
Well, and I do go into Natasha and watch her because in there's something about her. She's very magnetic, and I do enjoy the way she tells people, yeah, you want to say that about me? I don't care. I know who I am, and I don't need to be Gina Lola Brigida to feel good about myself. And I like her self-esteem. I think that's a good message. And she doesn't go as low as, like, nobody goes as low as Merv and BBT, but I kind of enjoy hearing someone stand up for themselves on YouTube. So I will go into her chat and I like to see her give it back. And I know she's not going to stop going after Merv, and Merv's not going to stop going after her. But I think of the two of them, Natasha is a much lower on the narcissism scale, way lower than Merv is. And I think Merv doesn't realize what she's up against, because a self-actualized person is the huge enemy of a narcissist.
just a footnote. I can't comment on BBT because I literally do not watch her. I'm sure this live stream is probably going to be dug through. I'm sure it is. Um, but I don't know what BBT has done, and I don't wish to know. I don't. I just,
Right.
I
And
made
seeing
myself a
things, it's
promise.
not important. It's
Yeah,
just not important.
no.
What's important to you?
Especially
Like
when you appreciate
Rosie.
friendships, it's just no, I don't want to go there.
Well, look what Rosie said. I live in a hospital bed for a quarter of a century, have a shitty existence since birth, yet never complain.
Hmm.
And see, that's the way you have to be. My friend in the wheelchair, she had life stolen from her at 18 by a drunk driver, and she gets up every day, she walks her dog, she swims in the pool, she's self-sufficient, and she's happy. She says, I could have just rotted away in resentment at how unfair this experience changed my life. And I get up every day and I choose happiness. And I think that's a really good message, you know?
Yeah,
Choose happiness no matter what challenges or horrible experiences you've had. If you can get up every day and be grateful to be alive and choose happy, that's the way to be.
yeah, and you know what? If your life is, um, Rosie's situation is different, but I'm talking about people who just have screwed up their life, or life threw them a bunch of curveballs, whether someone got fired from their job or divorced, or it's not the end of the world. It's
Oh, I've
never too late
persevered.
to
Yeah.
get your life back on track. It's never
Well,
too
and
late.
it's funny. It's really true. The old adage that living well is the best revenge. And it's not living a life that outwardly to others looks fulfilling. It's if you are actually fulfilled in your life, then that's the best revenge. And that you don't even need to let them know. Just the fact that they're out of your life is you've already won, you know? You saved yourself from that.
Yeah.
And you're winning. And winning's never been my goal. Just, you know, but a lot of things, every single person on this earth has horrific experiences, and some worse than others and some more long lasting than others. But the ones like I told Janice tonight, I really admired you when she was talking about choosing happiness and how not having the use of your legs for your entire, but she went on and got married and she had two kids and
Hmm.
ended up divorced. But, the fact that she is such a ray of sunshine every day, that's a choice. Happy is a choice. And a
Yeah.
lot of these people on YouTube aren't making that choice, and they're affecting other people. And, you have the power to turn them off. I recommend it. It works for me.
I think it's easy for me. Again, it goes back long before YouTube. I've just been like that for a long time with people, even in my real life. It's not that I don't want to deal with things, but I know when enough is enough for me. I know what my tolerance is, what I can handle and what I can't. It's self-preservation probably. Um, and I walk away. Maybe
Well,
it's
and I
not
think,
a good thing in some situations, but it works for me. Nobody seems to get hurt by it. I wouldn't want to do that to somebody, but I know when something is over, it's over. So
well,
why
and yeah, yeah,
whatever
you stop giving
bullshit
your
I've left
energy to things.
ever. Yeah.
You reclaim your energy, and I've had some real horrible experiences in life, but I just I amputated those people from my life, and I haven't thought of them since. Like, she was asking me about my marriage or whatever, and I was just like, oh my God, I'd have to like dig deep to find memories of anything to talk about regarding that, because I really let it all go.
Mhm.
It's not part of me anymore. I don't
Yeah.
carry it with
Start a
me.
new chapter in your life.
Yeah,
You meet new
I
people. That's
cleansed,
life. That's life. People come
and it
and go.
feels
Some
good.
stay for a long time. And that's great. But that's life, and we just have to start a new chapter and keep going.
Yeah, the world is a tough place, and you have to have thick skin.
Yeah.
And but it can be the sweetest place too if you just set your boundaries. Just set those boundaries and say, "Ooh, that isn't good enough to be in my close boundaries. So
Mhm.
I can live without that." And it's very freeing. And I don't think anybody really wants to trade places with MERB or BBT. Their lives don't really look attractive. They're not happy. And so why spend any time in it?
I think that's what happens though when there's this fighting all the time. And I'm sure if I did it every day and went live and to defend myself, after a while it just becomes entangled and you lose your identity, you know? Um, that's why I never chose a side, because I felt if I chose a side, I would lose that identity. Because when you're in a mob of people, right, supporting somebody and against another side, you lose that identity when you're surrounded by tons of other people. You lose your individuality. It's, call it, I don't know, cult. I'm not saying, you know, these channels are cults, but what I'm saying is, once you put yourself into a group with other people, um, you become a group, not an individual. And you start to lose, you know, even people you think you knew, and you're like, God, I don't even know them anymore. You know what? It's just because it becomes one big group of just toxicity on YouTube. And I don't want that. I don't want it for anybody, you know? Um, I think we should be able to stand on our own and not expect to have an army of people behind us to root us on, when it comes to going after another person. And I'm guilty of it. And I always said, we can all do better. And I promised myself when it, came beginning of the year, just everything came to a head. My job was stressful, working through the pandemic, losing my mom was crushing. And I'm just in the YouTube shit, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I've got to make the change. And I'm trying. I'm not perfect.
Well,
Um,
none of us are, but
and if it
losing a
means me
mom
staying off
is,
of YouTube because I don't feel protected as much as I used to, just because people just want to start shit for you even just going live. You can talk
well,
about
bad
anything and they
behavior.
get you recorded and, micromanaging every word you say and speculating. And um, You know, that's why I hesitate to even go live anymore.
Well, and there are no boundaries, and the bad behavior has accelerated and expanded into something really distasteful. And you know, you don't have to do anything to be attacked. If they just want to pull you out of a hat and slaughter you, they're gonna. And who wants that? I mean, it doesn't really affect me personally, but it reveals them to me. I know who they are and what they're about, and it makes them more unattractive. So it's easier to detach and go somewhere else. And but I just fly solo now. I have a bunch of friends that I've commiserated with because we had very similar experiences at the hands of MERB. And it seems like once BBT decided to go after all of us too, it only made us going, wow, why do we still do this? Why is this happening? But I think it crescendoed to a point where it's at now that it's just so toxic and so unpleasant, and there are no winners. You
Mm-mm.
know, people think they're winning or they're trying to win,
There isn't
but
any winners. I mean, you can sit there and, you know, say, well, you did this, and, you know, spin it any way you want and wrap a bow around it, make yourself look good, but still a shit show. It is still a shit show.
well, and there are a lot of people who look to
Emotional.
YouTube. They look to YouTube for companionship or making friendships because it's what they can do, and maybe they live away from their relatives or all their like
Yeah.
my friends are dropping like flies, and I'm really young to be having that happening. And they're lonely and they want to belong somewhere and they want to communicate with other people because that's a natural desire and need, is to feel at one with others and to relationship with others. That's a natural thing, and YouTube provides that for a lot of people whose situation doesn't offer opportunities in other ways. And so for these creators to see those people and target them and suck them in and manipulate them, it's even more offensive to me than what's been done to me. It's like, just can't you let people have a nice time and get what they need from it in a healthy way? But you can't anymore. YouTube has gotten so toxic. This community certainly has.
So the people
That-
that support, whether it's MERB or whoever, that support them, isn't that enough at this point?
yeah,
You have
yes, they're
why,
watching you. Yeah.
why is that not enough? People, no matter if you hate them or love them, they have their support system in their chats. Why is that not enough for them?
Right. And I don't want people to tell me who to hate. I don't want to exercise hate in my life. I don't have it in my life. I don't want to play in that arena. And if I'm going to be in your chat, chatting with my friends, I never go into chats where I know that they've talked bad about me, just
Mm.
because I don't want to give them the feed. But it's it's so it's just unfulfilling. Sometimes cleaning the kitchen is more fun than listening to some of these YouTubers. It's like, "Oh my god, this again? And, oh, you're even worse than last time I tuned
I
in."
did my share. I did my share, right? I'm not proud of it. Um, I'm not proud of it. Never thought I'd say it or admit it, but I'm not. I thought I was doing the right thing. Um, but I got caught up in it too. And
And
that's
it got
nobody's
worse.
fault
It
but
got
mine.
worse while you were doing that. You thought it was just kind of a lighthearted thing, but now it's a lot worse.
And
And
that's
so
one
you
reason
have to
why I backed away. It wasn't about anyone in particular. I wasn't feeling good about doing what I was doing.
Well, I don't have any regrets. I mean, Merb just really slaughtered me and did some things to me
A
dirty
little
in the
bit,
dark
right?
real
Yeah.
life.
I mean,
And so what I just clapped back at her all on my own. I wasn't communicating with anybody else about my clapbacks. I still don't. I put out what I put out. And it's just satisfying for me to say, Here's what the term hate crime means, people. Can we all grow up now and read English? I mean, or read it in your language, but you know what I mean. There's a reality and you can't deny it anymore. Stop
But
saying something's something it's not. And
I
those
don't,
kind of things irritate me. So
I do,
I'm
yeah,
not ashamed of that.
no, I don't regret, like, there are a lot of people that, um, came to me and had a platform. There's a lot of things I don't regret. What I regret is that I think eventually I put myself into the target range, you know?
Well,
Um,
that's exactly it. Yeah, and you gotta get out of the target
it
range.
was just getting to be too long and there was no progression, you know what I mean? I wasn't in it for the long haul. I didn't want to be in it for the long haul. Um, I don't know, but a lot of it, I mean, I met a lot of nice people and we've helped each other, you know, where people needed to talk things out in public or private. I think all
Yeah,
our intentions were good at first, but then it just got really messy. And I don't know
but
why.
but commiserating and being there or forming friendships with people off of YouTube based on what's going on YouTube isn't always negative, and sometimes it's much more fulfilling than being on YouTube.
Right.
But I think all my friends know I'm never going to just take up for somebody and and go to the mat because they want it, or I fly solo. I do anything I do, I answer to myself for. I can be supportive in a lot of ways to my friends, but I'm not gonna jump in a snake pit, and they know that, and they don't expect me to. I support them with nice comments and good thoughts, and I understand where you're coming from, or I agree with you, but I don't go to the channels that I don't like and make comments or chat. I just avoid them entirely because there's just nothing there. And some of these people are being attacked in the most egregious ways. So, of course, I go in their chat or answer on a post or something and say, you know, I really appreciate what you do. Like Evie Scorpio does these posts with really funny memes. And she always puts a pun in there because I talked to her about my mom really loving puns, plays on words. So there's always a pun. And that's really touching to me that oh, I got to find a pun. And this is for Jamie, and I love that. That's a really kind thing. And that tells me that she's really a sweet person, and she's being slaughtered right now by MRB, and so if I can, even the scale for her by saying something nice, I'm going to. I'm
Yeah.
not going to go into MRBs and attack MRB for it. I just don't even want to go there. That's pointless. But you can put your energy where it will do the most good in a way that you can live with.
Yeah. And I
Mhm.
realized too that no matter who's had a situation, um, it's like nothing gets resolved, you know?
Well, they
Nothing.
don't want
It
it
just
to.
goes on and on and on. And with every channel, there's just never resolution. There's never an end to it.
I
And I just
saw
don't have the
Now, wait a
tolerance
minute.
for
I
it.
saw a resolution on Randy's channel last week. A
Really?
certain, yes, a certain person that we both know came in and was kind of uh, embittered by something that Randy had, or when Wendy had said, and they actually sorted it out in the most mature way and said, "Well, I didn't know that you were that somebody has a name just like yours, and I am sorry that you took offense, but I was talking about this person, and they worked it all out." And I thought, that's a good channel because they invite people to come up and air your crap, and the goal is to have resolution. And I watched them turn this conflict, just completely erase it and make it make sense, and everybody left happy. And I thought, wow, that's a YouTube victory. That's a channel I can watch.
But that was just what, over a misunderstanding of a creator's name?
No, a creator said something about someone who was adversarial to them, and
Yeah.
they had the same name, and this other person switches her name back and forth, and one of her names is the same as this other person's. And so that person thought that Wendy was attacking her personally, but it was really a whole different conflict with another person. And but they sorted it out, and that person who had the dual, the mimicked name, she came in hot, she was like ready for some controversial talk. And they calmed it right down and sorted it all out and worked on it. And it was actually refreshing to see that on YouTube. I was like,
Yeah.
damn girl, good
Doesn't
on you.
happen often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so it can be done, but I don't think it's ever going to be done on these channels that have raging narcissists at the helm. That's you're not going to see it there, and so that's why I don't go to those channels. It's just too fruitless. There's fruitless.
You think it's bad here? Don't go to TikTok either.
Oh, I won't ever go on TikTok. I don't do
TikTok is
Instagram. I don't tweet
poisonous.
or whatever. I
Yeah.
I just And I only interact on Facebook with my college friends that live far away and my high school friends that moved away, and to look at pictures of my grandkids. I click on once a day just to see if what anybody's up to, and then I'm off. And
Yeah.
and that's the way I think social media can work for me. But I'm not even going to I don't need new platforms to get sucked into. So I set limits for myself, and it's really they're attainable. I want to look at my grandkids, and thank God my daughter-in-law puts them on there every day so I can see them. Even though we live in the same town, they're very busy and I'm busy. So it's just nice. So I only use social media for things that are going to be positive for me, or to lend support to my friends who I think are I don't clap back anymore based on what people say about me. I don't care about that. And it doesn't bother me.
So before I leave, I just want a daily read from the book of AA.
Awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna sit down, but I'm still listening.
Yeah. Thanks for coming up. It's always
Okay,
good to
I love you, Pink.
love you too.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay. So I used to do daily reads, and you don't have to be in the program. It's the 12-step program. It's a way of life. And I always said, even if you're not struggling with substance use or alcohol, um, it's it's a good program for anybody. I started, with Al-Anon because of my son was struggling with substance use. Who's in recovery? He's been in recovery for a year. So there's a book out there. There's many books if you go to Amazon and just look up daily reads. Um, Love you too, Kev, from AA or Al-Anon. And they're short reads. But this one for today, life is all a preparation for something better to come. God has a plan for your life, and it will work out if you try to do His will. God has things planned for you far beyond what you can imagine now, but you must prepare yourself so that you will be ready for the better things to come. Now is the time for discipline and prayer. The time of expression will come later. Life can be flooded through and through with joy and gladness, so prepare yourself for those better things to come. I pray and I may prepare myself for better things that God has in store for me. I pray that I may trust God for the future. And that's just one of the daily reads. So they're inspirational, kind of makes you think, um, and there's always something positive to look for in our lives. So even if you're having the most crappiest day, there's always something to find gratitude for. Um, so that's it, and I thank everybody for coming. Um, if you can, just don't watch MRB because, like I said, the narcissist, best revenge you can get is don't pay mind to them. Don't pay attention. Don't give her a view. Yes, I did a commentary on her, I think last month. But I'm still trying. It's a work in progress. But she's much more out of control now. You're welcome, Jamie. Thanks for coming up. Yeah, thanks everyone for coming up. I've got to get to bed. I'm babysitting another dog tomorrow, so I have to be up early. So we'll see you around the tubes. And yeah, if you want to learn more about narcissism, go to my playlist. There's some great videos. In that way, hopefully, if you understand the narcissist, you won't take their attacks so personally. Because again, it's all about them. They're not angry at you; they're angry at themselves. They're miserable, and they're looking for your reactions to power them, to make them feel good. Okay. So, yep, live your best lives. You're right. All right. Talk to you guys later. Good night, everyone. Thanks for coming. It was fun.